This is the Etekcity digital multimeter. It's model number MSR-R500. It's a standard volt ohm meter. It's red. It measures volts and ohms, continuity, diodes. I'll let you read the information here. You can pause there if you'd like. And here is the unit right over here. Has a nice sort of rubberized case around it. As you can see, it's like a rubbery, vinyl-y kind of thing. It has a flip-out stand that opens up like that, and it works. It actually just works. And when you go to close it, it snaps shut, and it stays shut somehow. But it works. Let's get this thing hooked up. Before continuing, I received this product at no cost for my review. Looks like the length of the leads here isn't too bad at all. Some nice long leads on that. That's always very handy. Other than that, this is a volt ohm meter, okay? This video is not going to go over how to use said meter. That is for you to read the manual about and find out exactly how it works, but we will do some preliminary tests with it here in this video. If you don't know how to use a voltmeter, you may wish to look on YouTube for a video that will tell you how to use one and show you various different things you can do with it. Right now I have the leads attached to the common and the volts and ohms. This is for current over here for your amps. I'm not going to be measuring that today. This is not an auto ranging meter, but that's okay. You just turn the dial. As you can see, it has a nice backlit screen like that. You can turn the backlight on and off. It stays on or stays off, just depending on how you how you want it. So let me get a supply hooked up here and we'll test it out, see what it reads. Okay, what I have here is a computer power supply, a very old one that the warranty has been voided for a long time. This is going to put out 12 and 5 volts that we're going to measure. As far as I know, it is pretty accurate, even without having a load on it. It generally did put out what it was supposed to. I'm going to apply some power to it. I have the meter already set on the DC volt 20 volt scale. And we are going to probe the connector here, the Molex connector, the black and the red, which gives us 5.38. And that's about what I remember it read with another meter. I don't really have a high quality meter to compare this with, but there is more to the story with that, and if you continue watching you'll find out about that. Probing the 12 volt, looks like 10.8. Now that might actually be a bit low. Off camera I'm going to go check this with another meter and see how close it is. Okay, I don't know if you can see this here. This is a Harbor Freight El Cheapo meter. That's reading 5.34. I also forgot I didn't have the backlight on here. I'm sorry about that. And that's reading 5.35. So on the 5 volt we're pretty close. And here we are on the 12 volt rail, and we are still pretty close. It's not exactly right. It's not exactly wrong. This is a great inexpensive meter to have in your toolbox for some simple measurements. We're only talking about 0.3 or 0.4, I'm sorry, 0.03 or 0.04 of a volt here. So really not that off. It's actually very close. I guess the supply has lived its day. This has been around the block in too many different projects, and without a load on it, I guess, and it not being run in a long time, this is what we get. But anyway, it looks like it's pretty close. Let's test some AC voltage. Okay, I now have the meter set on the 200 volt AC scale. I'm just going to probe the IEC plug. Here in the United States we have 120 volts, so we have everything connected correctly. and today we are reading 120.7. If I compare that with my other meter here very quickly, I'll turn that on. .120 something. 120 point pretty close. So not too bad. This meter is definitely sizing up to this little Harbor Freight El Cheapo, which means that actually both of them are probably pretty good. I've had pretty good luck with the Harbor Freight meters as such. So this should be a great addition. I really like the fact that this is got the rubberized thing around it. We're going to go now to the continuity. Right now we're reading open circuit or infinite resistance. When I touch this together, there should be a buzzer of some kind, and we should read very close to 0 ohms. We're reading 2 ohms, depending if I have a good enough connection on there. Not bad at all. Pretty close. Just about where you'd expect it to be. And sometimes my fingers will induce other readings there. So it's great that it's got a continuity tester, which is something the Harbor Freight meter doesn't have. And of course you can measure all sorts of other resistance here on your resistance scale. This again should read pretty much almost nothing, which it does, as I'm just touching the probes together. We can also test for continuity between the ground wires on this, which should read just about nothing. So it's all there, you know. It's a basic meter. I really like the fact that it has the continuity buzzer right over here and the backlight. This also, by the way, has a hold function. To do that, we'll just touch them together, hit the hold button, and H shows up in the display, and it reads whatever it said there until you take off the hold. Just to show you the difference between the Harbor Freight one and the Etekcity one, this here is the Etekcity probe, and it's entirely this much longer than the Harbor Freight one. In addition to that, the wire is really nice and flexible as compared to this, which kind of always wants to hold its shape, and the leads that come with the Harbor Freight one really are just pure junk. So you are getting much better, longer, nicer leads with this particular meter. It looks to be pretty accurate. All around a great deal. Probably pretty rugged if you drop it because of the rubberized coating on there. And the stand and the backlight, I don't think you really can go wrong for the price. Let's take a peek inside though. Now you can see the rubber case here just comes right off. There are 2 screws that we need to remove. Okay. And if we separate the case, which is going to take a little bit of doing, not too much. There we go. You can get at your battery right here. You can replace your fuse right here. And if you look very closely, these 2 little springs are actually the contacts for the transducer. Also looking very closely, there is an adjustment. That can be turned ever so slightly if, and only if, you know what you're doing, and you have another meter that you trust more than, say, something like this, such as a Fluke meter or one of those big name brands that have made a name for themselves for their quality. That can be adjusted there to help tweak the display into reading what your other meter is, which would make this meter then, well, pretty much super accurate. So the final verdict, this meter has everything you're looking for in an inexpensive meter. It's got all the features you want at a price you can afford. All around, a really nice meter, and a nice upgrade from some real dirt cheap ones like I showed you before. If you'd like to get this meter, I believe there is a newer version of it available. I will put a link in the video description where you can find that on Amazon. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.